When I think of the deep, clear, cold lakes of the Northeast Kingdom, I think of big lake trout, rainbows, and even landlocked salmon. But for years I've been hearing about the excellent early fall perch fishing that these waters also offer. And on a gorgeous late September day, I joined my good friend Ken Eastman, who's been fishing the lakes and ponds of the Northeast Kingdom for more than 50 years.
Well, I'm 64 now, and caught my first salmon when I was 6, and I was catching fish off a dock here, off my grandparents' dock when I was a little younger than that. So, it's been a few years.
Because most anglers target trout and salmon in northeastern Vermont's lakes and ponds, yellow perch often reach trophy sizes. And because the water is so cold and clean, their flesh tends to be firmer, their colors brighter, and their taste sweeter. Ken has certainly caught his share of trout and salmon over the years, but the older he gets, the more he appreciates the kingdom's big yellow perch.
Look at the perch. Look at them. I like these fish in the fall up here. I grew up on them. I like the taste of them. It's water quality. That's what it is. You look right down 15 feet and see the bottom. You get some nice perch in the fall. It's fun doing it. You'll get them 14, 15 inches, 16. It's common. You just got to fish for them.
We set off mid-morning to try our luck on Caspian Lake in Greensboro. First up was securing a good supply of local minnows, the preferred bait for jumbo perch.
I'm a firm believer, use what bait's in that lake.
Not only is this more economical than buying minnows, the bait is fresher and more appealing. To catch our minnows, we used Ken's favorite ingredients.
A thing of white bread.
And a little bit of dog food?
Yeah, 10 kernels.
Reminds me of when I was a kid, Ken. Sometimes catching the bait was as much fun as the fishing.
Well, yeah,
All right, that's over the weeds right there.
Yep.
Goes the boy.
We'll make a swing and we'll go back and check.
What kind of minnows we get? Little shiners or dace?
No, you've probably never seen a banded killifish, have you?
I've seen a banded jellyfish.
You're going to get a bunch of them in here because since these weeds have come up.
One's a little better. Those look like mostly banded killifish. Now supplied with dozens of minnows, we set off to find some perch. Ken has become a little more high-tech over his fishing career and now relies on an electronic fish finder to locate schools of perch.
What, see them coming in now?
Oh yeah.
There's your main school right there.
As we drifted over the school, Ken spelled out his #1 rule to catching jumbo perch.
Big perch, big bait. It's that simple,
Which sometimes meant putting several minnows on a single jig hook.
We used a lot more minnows than most people. We used pieces of crawfish. You got to use heavier weight beyond the bottom. We'll put a heavy one of these on.
All right, so you're putting an egg sinker on.
Yeah, and the reason for doing this, you got to get down below these smaller perch. The bigger ones are always going to be on the bottom.
Just like striped bass.
Ain't no difference. Just like fishing walleyes. You got to get in the bottom, and then you got to keep it down there. Just to keep tension so it's just out of the weeds a little bit. You might jig it once and let it stay there. You'll see the little ones just keep popping it.
Little one's playing with it.
You can tell them little ones go tap, 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 tap.
Right.
Then finally you'll see a bigger one. You'll just very slowly see a rod tip go down. The bigger ones will just keep sinking it like that.
Like that.
That better? If you got 2 or 3 minnows on, they're moving all the time and they're acting like you're feeding on something. They'll come right in, they'll get one big meal and they're done. They're not going to go out of the way just like a big lake trout. But the whole thing is, you can't keep moving it. A lot of people will get a bite of a little one, they move it. As soon as you move it, the big ones are gone. They just leave.
Not as big as your first one, but
Ain't that big. You want him? I don't want him.
let him go then. Foot or bigger. Of course, perch are not the only fish happy to snap up some fat minnows. Oh, that is a bull pout. Son of a gun.
Look at the perch following it.
That is a good bull pout.
Oh, you'll get them bigger than that.
I thought that was a 1.5 pound perch.
You'll get them bigger than that. If you want.
While Ken has his favorite lures and baits, he knows that sometimes you have to mix things up.
And one thing I can tell people, don't be afraid to experiment. Let me try something else for you. You gotta let the fish dictate to you what they want every day. They're very aggressive.
All right, this feels substantially heavier.
Oh, you'll know when you get a bigger one. You need a net yet?
Not giant, but he feels heavier than
It's just a nice
what
perch,
I'm
ain't it?
This is getting
he ain't
close.
that good. He's
This
just
is
a good
getting
perch.
close.
He's just a good perch, that's all.
That is a good perch. And that would definitely go in the bucket at home. No
Well,
question
keep him.
about it.
You want something to eat, those are good ones to eat. We'll just keep getting bigger ones. And, taking a scale sample off them and, run the magic marker and done all that stuff on them, right on it. You can count the rings of a tree. And most of these are 12, 15 years old or a foot long. So they've seen a lot of a lot of fishing, especially in the wintertime. They're slow growing. You know, cold water, they're slower growing anyway. Use a bait from a lake. That's what they're big with. They didn't get big by being stupid, you know. They've seen lines, they've seen everything you can think of, those fish. You gotta have a lot of line. You don't want line straight down. It just doesn't, it spooks them. So anything you can put down there spooks them. Put a lot of line out and let your boat float back over your fish. And light line is a key. Pay very attention to detail. I think it's a very underfished fishery, especially in the fall, because everybody thinks of spring when they're spawning, but they don't think of them congregating in the fall. Oh, he's a bad bird.
That's a good perch. I'll keep him.
I'd eat him if you want.
Yeah, he's going to be close to a foot.
Yeah, I'd eat him. And you may not get, you know, the big ones all full of eggs. You get some nice perch in the fall. Don't! What'd you do?
That was called an accidental release. I was going to show it to the camera, but I think I've got the feel for it now anyhow.
Once you get it, you can do it, you know?
All right, Mr. 15-inch perch. I know you're out there.
I thought you had him.
Me too. That is a gorgeous perch, Ken.
That's what we're looking for.
That is a big, big perch.
I like 100 of those in my freezer every year.
Look at that. That is a master angler class. He's got to be at least 13 inches. Close to, anyhow.
I bet he's over.
Look at the color on him. Beautiful color.
Beautiful.
What is he, Ken?
About 13 and a quarter without squeezing his tail.
13 inches is a master class perch.
It's fun to catch big ones. It's a challenge to you. My best advice is find a little feeder brook that comes in and go along there, right straight out front of about 30 feet of water. You know, it's bringing in dirt, plankton, insects, all your crawfish and everything else. The minnows come in, so it brings the bait in. They're just filling their body to gain body weight.
There are dozens of Northeast Kingdom lakes and ponds that provide good perch fishing. Maidstone, Crystal, Willoughby, and Seymour, among other waters, have healthy perch populations, and fall is a great time to fish for them.
Come out here in the fall, and it's pretty much like today. We were the only one out there. So, and you got the foliage and all the wildlife coming down. And there's loons out here. You'll see more and more of them. I've got pictures of 13, 16, 23s are most I've seen. They'll be right there working those fish, just like you are. And they'll try to grab your perch once in a while, or your bait. Just the way it is.
But what Ken really enjoys these days is sharing the kingdom's fine perch fishing with friends and family, especially youngsters.
You know, I just like the perch. I really do. I don't know, there's just something in your heart you do as a kid, as you get old, and you come back to it. And my grandfather did it, my uncles did it. As you get older, you just like the more simple things.